Here we will discuss about the unit of magnetic field. The expression for the magnetic force helps us to define the unit of magnetic field. We have the magnetic force F is equal to QVB sin theta. From this equation, the magnitude of magnetic field B is equal to F divided by QV sin theta. Here, if charge is equal to 1 coulomb, velocity is equal to 1 meter per second, theta is equal to 90 degree, and if force is equal to 1 Newton, then we will get the value of magnetic field as 1 SI unit. Dimensionally, we can write B is equal to F by QV. From this equation, the unit of B is Newton second divided by Coulomb meter. This unit is called Tesla, named after Nikola Tesla. That is, 1 Newton second by Coulomb meter will be equal to 1 Tesla. Here we are defining the unit of magnetic field. The SI unit of magnetic field is Tesla. We have the magnetic field B is equal to F by QV sin theta. In this equation, if Q is equal to 1 coulomb, V is equal to 1 meter per second, theta is equal to 90 degree, and if F is equal to 1 Newton, we will get the value of magnetic field as 1 Tesla. That is, the magnetic field at a point is said to be 1 Tesla if a charge of 1 coulomb, while moving at right angle to the magnetic field with a velocity of 1 meter per second, experiences a force of 1 Newton at that point. The Earth's magnetic field is about 3.6 into 10 power minus 5 Tesla. We have another smaller unit for magnetic field, that is Gauss. 1 Gauss is equal to 10 power minus 4 Tesla. Here we will see the order of magnetic field at various physical situations. I told you about the unit of magnetic field, which is 1 Tesla. If that is our unit, then do we have a magnetic field around us? What is the magnetic field around us? That magnetic field is due to Earth. And on the surface of the Earth, it is 10 power minus 5 Tesla. It may be little less or little more from location to location. But on the surface of the Earth, it is 10 power minus 5 Tesla. Now, if you go near a bar magnet, it is about 10 power minus 2 Tesla. In the lab, if we make a solenoid, about solenoid you will study in detail later in the next topic. It is actually a coil, it's like a spring, and it has large number of turns. When we flow current in this, inside we can create a magnetic field, and that magnetic field we can create up to 1 Tesla. That is, in the lab we can create 1 Tesla. Now, in our human body there is one electrical system, and because of that there is certain magnetic field also inside the body. But this magnetic field is very weak, and it is of the order of 10 power minus 10 Tesla. Next is interstellar space. That is the space between one star to the other star. In that space, magnetic field is very weak, and that is the weakest magnetic field, that is 10 power minus 12 Tesla. A very strong magnetic field is there on the surface of neutron star, and it is about 10 power 8 Tesla. It is very strong compared to Earth. Any charge going near to this cannot escape it. It has to go around it. So, this is the variation of magnetic field at different locations in our day-to-day life. Now we will discuss about Lorentz force. What is Lorentz force? It is a sum of two forces, one due to electric field and the other one due to magnetic field. Scientist Lorentz did a lot of research on that, and therefore we also call these forces as Lorentz force. When a charged particle is subjected to electric field and magnetic field simultaneously, it will experience both force due to magnetic field and electric field. The combination of these two forces or the resultant of these two forces is called Lorentz force. Or we can say whenever a charged particle move in a space where both electric and magnetic fields are present, then the forces on that charged particle is known as Lorentz force. So how can we define Lorentz force? When a charged particle having charge Q moves in a region where both electric field and magnetic field exist, it experiences a net force called Lorentz force. That is, Lorentz force is equal to force on the charge due to electric field plus force on the charge due to magnetic field. So we can write Lorentz force F is equal to F electric plus F magnetic. That is Fe plus Fm. When a charge Q is moving in an electric field, the charge will experience a force due to electric field. We can express that force as Fe is equal to QE. From this equation it is clear that the direction of force and the direction of electric field both are same. Next is magnetic force. In the previous class we already derived the expression for magnetic force. That is, Fm is equal to Q into V cross B. The direction of this magnetic force is perpendicular to the direction of velocity. So from these two equations we can write the expression for Lorentz force. That is, it is a sum of electric force and magnetic force. So if you substitute the expressions of Fe and Fm, you will get the expression for Lorentz force as F is equal to QE plus Q into V cross B. If you take Q as common factor, it will be Q into E plus V cross B. Here we are going to derive an expression for magnetic force on a current carrying conductor. We have studied that when a charged particle is moving in a magnetic field, it experiences a force. We have also studied that electric current means the charges are flowing in a conductor. That means if there is a conductor which is carrying current, that is, the charges are moving, due to the motion of each and every charge, the conductor should experience a force. In figure, you can see a conductor PQ. Here L is the length of the conductor and A is the area of cross section. This conductor is placed in a magnetic field B and the magnetic field is in the Z direction. Here theta is the angle between magnetic field and the conductor. In figure you can see the conductor PQ with the length L and area of cross section A, and I is the current on the conductor. Here B is the magnetic field and the angle between magnetic field and length of the conductor is theta. Here you can see the enlarged version of the conductor. L is the length and A is the area of cross section. For this conductor, Q is the charge on each charge carrier and N is the number density of mobile charge carrier. That is, it is the number of charges per unit volume. For a cylinder, if the base area is A and if L is the height, then volume of the cylinder will be A into L. So, in our case, in unit volume, we have N number of charges. That means for AL volume, the number of charges will be N into A into L. And on each charge carrier, the magnitude of charge is Q. That means the total charge on the conductor will be NaLQ. We have another new term here, that is Vd. It is the average drift velocity of each mobile charge carriers. This term drift velocity you will study in detail in another chapter, current electricity. Now, in simple way you remember this much. It is the average velocity of all the charge carriers in a conductor. In a conductor, each charge will have different velocity. So as a representation, we are using the average value of all these velocities, and that is drift velocity. And its representation is Vd. When a charge Q is moving in a magnetic field with a velocity V, the force on the charge is F is equal to Q into V cross B. This we already learned in the previous class. Here, in this equation, we are substituting for charge and velocity. From the previous slide, we got the expression for the total charge as NaLQ. And in place of velocity, we can substitute the drift velocity. Substituting these things in equation 1, we will be getting equation 2. That is, in place of Q, we are substituting NaLQ, and in place of velocity, we are substituting drift velocity. Now, for a current carrying conductor, the current I is equal to NeAVd. This equation also you will study in current electricity chapter. In this equation, I is the amount of current in the conductor, N is the number density, E is the charge of an electron, A is the area of cross section of the conductor, and Vd is the drift velocity. In our situation, the charge on each carrier is Q. So in place of E, you can write Q. So the equation for I will be NQAVd. That we can write as equation number 3. But here the current I is not a vector. So from equations 2 and 3, we can write the equation for force in vector form as F is equal to I into L cross B. You can mark this as equation number 4. Here, L is a vector of magnitude L and theta is the angle between L and B. The direction of this force is perpendicular to both L and B, and the magnitude of this force is F is equal to ILB sin theta. So this is the equation for the magnetic force on a current carrying conductor. Now we will see the special cases. We have the magnetic force on a current carrying conductor F is equal to ILB sin theta. Here, theta is the angle between the conductor and the magnetic field. In case 1, the conductor is parallel or anti-parallel to the magnetic field. That is, theta is equal to 0 or 180 degree. Then, sin theta is equal to 0 and force is equal to 0. That is, the force is 0 when the conductor is parallel or anti-parallel to the magnetic field. In case 2, the conductor is perpendicular to the magnetic field. That is, theta is equal to 90 degree. Then, sin theta is equal to 1 and F is equal to ILB. This is the maximum value of the force. That is, the force is maximum when the conductor is perpendicular to the magnetic field.